Another DraftScience video presentation. Alright, so be forewarned and such. I'm just going to read the comments on Pyrrho's kind of crap video. Well, it is a crap video, frankly. It's just crap. No science, no physics, just accusations, the typical bullshit. So I did make a response to that video. I mean, to Pyrrho's commentary, whatever you want to call it, his opinion. Yeah. So link below. It's on my website instead of here, just so there's no issues. Blah, 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 with YouTube or some other kind of bullshit. Just because this really isn't part of the subject. This really shouldn't be the price you pay for, challenging, a scientific idea, and challenging it with logic and reasoning and evidence, experiments and that kind of stuff. This shouldn't be what you get for it. So I just thought it was curious that Pyrrho's got 24 thumbs up and only 1 thumbs down, sort of indicating that you'll see the people on my side have so much more integrity. They don't go around thumbing things down and going, all that little bullshit. It's not important to them. Those little petty victories of hitting a little thumb down. And obviously the people commenting on Pyrrho's video, that's their tactic. That's their argument. They don't have an argument, so all they can do is spit. So anyway, that's the preface. So, this really shouldn't be of interest to you if you're interested in the physics. There won't be any physics here. There's just going to be a lot of arguments about what kind of horrible person I am, because I dare challenge them. All right. So, Mindless Marbles, a longtime critic, can't in any way construct an argument that doesn't have, a bunch of crap in it. Stuff he couldn't say to Professor Lewin or some other person who demands you treat them with some kind of respect. He doesn't think I deserve any, and so he didn't give me any, and I blocked him because I don't have to do that. Yeah. So anyway, and he's just a petty loser. So so his arguments, he doesn't use his time to make some sort of argument on Pyrrho's video, pointing out where he demonstrated anything to be meaningfully wrong in what I said. It's all little bullshit. None of the substantive arguments have in any way been dented by these people, these critics. So it's just this kind of junk. Yes, this is exactly what his science denial has become. So it's not anywhere near exactly. I've claimed no conspiracies of any kind. What I'm surprised is that it turns out physicists are really stupid. I mean, really, really stupid. They're trained in mathematics, but they're not trained in logic or reasoning. That's why they couldn't figure out that bent space is a vacuous, pointless description of reality. It doesn't describe anything. It doesn't explain the mechanism at all. It's nothing as an explanation. It has no explanatory value. It's just a nonsense, a useless nonsense. It magically happens. That's not science. It magically happens. And clearly, again, they keep trying to say that somehow there's some integrity. Show me one place in history where there was integrity in what happened with MV squared. Like there was some kind of some moment where they presented really great evidence and they made a really great argument and they really analyzed how it couldn't be any other way, how Newton was wrong. That would be the first thing to do. Obviously, Newton predicted all the stuff he predicted with momentum as the moving force. So you have to explain, how did Newton get all those right answers with the wrong formula? How would that be possible? They don't even come close to answering any of those questions. All right, anyway, the equivalent of flat earth science. So that's the accusation. Now, I'll just remind you, I had a big fight with Darwin's hamster, right? Because he's the one doing the science denial. Oh, we didn't land on the moon, He is putting out literally incoherent, so that's just a lie. The 3 videos on the subject, there's nothing incoherent about the arguments being made. I am perfectly lucidly explaining things that haven't been explained for hundreds of years, like the 2-slit experiment. Do you agree or disagree that the mathematics is actually predicting locations on a curved line? That it's not even predicting locations on a flat plane? Did you even figure that part out, mindless? Can you even concede that point and say, yeah, they really fucked that up, because they really should be talking about where the pattern is on a curved surface, because that's what you're predicting with the mathematics? Can you even figure that out? you know, anyway, self-contradictory nonsense. So he didn't prove any of this self-contradictions. Nowhere in any of my videos has he shown any contradictions. So just more talk. No walk, just talk. And they pretend like they give a fuck about science, the scientific method, the scientific process. They couldn't care less. They're the same propagandists that in France in the 1700s decided to change Newton's perfect physics. Newton's physics worked fundamentally perfectly. It was so good. And they changed it. And they got away with changing it. Why? Why would you fix what's not broken? Will you answer that question? No. Okay. Nonsense that requires flat earther conspiracy. So again, there's no conspiracy argued here. I pointed out in the history just how stupid this was, and these were religiously motivated people, and they wanted their doctrine to be right. They wanted their world view, their universe view, to be scientifically verified, so they forced the science to verify it. It's plainly in the history. You haven't made any counter argument showing how it's really a great scientific process, that MV square went through the right method of scrutiny and evidence presenting and challenge. There wasn't any, there wasn't much scrutiny to publication. If you were French, the French published you. If you were British, the British published you, Anyway, conspiracy that somehow NASA scientists and engineers are lying about kinetic energy. So again, he says the NASA engineers used kinetic energy formulas to land on the moon. I don't see anything, there's absolutely zero evidence that they did that. I mean, I did the whole spaceship thing in the previous video, right? The NASA engineers know that the bottle of Coke weighing 2 kilograms, when they shove that going 1 mile an hour, it's the same amount of energy as the dime going at 1,000 miles an hour. The NASA engineers know that. They know how it works, the real world. The world where you have to account for the energy. So they don't bother with this MV squared horse shit. They don't think the dime side made 2,000 joules of energy and now I have an opposite reaction of 2,000 joules. They know that's not true, mindless. So show some integrity here somewhere. Make a physics argument somewhere. All this rag talking you do, this petty, stupid, ignorant, garbage. You're just a fucking troll now. You've reduced yourself to just trolling with lies and distortions and exaggerations and crap. Are you proud of what you've become? All right, about kinetic energy and Newtonian mechanics. So again, this has absolutely nothing to do with Newton. It's just such a lie to say this is a Newton piece of physics. Newton hated the idea. He didn't have any use for it. He did make arguments against it, saying, what the fuck for? What good is this crap? Okay, he saw no use for it. He saw no evidence of it. And he just dismissed it. And Leibniz died a nobody. And then this whole thing was dug up again by the French 30 years later. That's the real history, shithead. This is not Newton's mechanics. So quit lying that mv squared is Newton's mechanics when it's overtly Leibniz's mechanics. It's overtly Newton's most active competitor. I mean, you're such liars. It's just amazing. All right, the truth is that he hasn't bothered to learn or study even an iota of the physics. So just another preposterous lie. It is through studying it that I found out how pitiful the arguments were, that all of this is based on clay experiments. And the rest of the experiments, some were dropping things into water. Not very scientific either. And the argument is those experiments don't confirm. So, the little Miss, whatever her name was, Emily de Châtelet, the little rich princess, actually there is some argument to be made that she kind of exaggerated the experimental results because they can't be repeated. All right. And instead he is relying on superficial name dropping to BS his way through. Superficial name dropping. Whose name am I dropping? Besides Newton's and Leibniz, the two fundamental players in this little drama. And again, the drama you're the one ignorant of. If you look up the history, it's not a good history. Go look up the history of Eddington's experiment. Right in his journal, he tells you, I got 10% of my results, very disappointing. And, I have no, I wouldn't stake my life on these results. Yet we got New York Times headlines, Einstein proven right. And the experiment's never been repeated. You think that's good science. So you're calling me a flat earther when you call shit like that good science. You don't understand science. You don't understand the obligation of claiming a truth. And the obligation is to have not only reasoning and logic, but evidence. And you don't have either or any. Especially in the case of MV squared. You have no reasoning to defend it. None. Oh, things go 4 times higher in gravity. Everybody knows. So what? Yeah, it's lighter. Gravity affects it less. It's like less friction. Duh. Yeah, of course it's going to go further. All right. How anyone can become such a silly person is beyond me. Well, I'm going to make you eat those words. And I'm hoping history will do it too. And, find the little baby marbles and, and make sure they know, what they've come from, what they're a byproduct of, a snarky little troll, a petty little, jackass who couldn't win the argument with actual facts and now has just resorted to this gross, sloppy slander. Fuck you. All right, whatever this is, pray. Gary, spelled with 2 R's, too stupid, wants to hate himself. So again, more of this bullshit psychology nonsense. So they can't even do psychology with any kind of integrity. Nobody on this planet, really, who spends any time analyzing my psychology will find that I in any way dislike myself. Compared to all of you, I am so happy to be me. Anyway, life and reality. It is pathological. So more terminology. These morons have obviously probably had plenty of those words written, by doctors while they're looking at them. Anyway, nourished in part of his being, whatever that even means. There is not much left of him without it. La 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 la. What a pile of just absolute psychobabble bullshit. Just demonstrating again, these people don't give a shit about science or the truth. Who the fuck would fall for this kind of crap talk? Pathological. Oh, it's pathological that throughout my entire life I've been doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is examining the world and finding its deficiencies, finding things that don't have good enough explanation, and then digging deeper to see why this circumstance exists when it shouldn't. Like, for example, the whole there's no point in getting into philosophical conversations, but yes, you're not gonna create a civilization if you keep rewarding people for using babies as extortion. That's really stupid. So you got to come up with a better system. You got to pay the freight. You're not going to have a civilization if you don't realize that some percentage of your population is truly pathological and psychotic. Their brain doesn't work right at all, and they're dangerous. And instead of calling them mentally ill, you call them criminals. And that's really dumb. So anyway, so Warbles, I already did this one, right? That's this nothing. What is this shit? Oh yeah, that's right. It's just shit. Okay. And the complete non-argument again from a petty loser. He made bold claims about how I'm saving 9 million gallons of gasoline a year with my little frickin' solar panel on the roof. Too retarded. Anyway, although you two are like bitter enemies, whatever, frenemies, all this little game playing, Pyrrho's just wore thin, okay? I mean, it's always been a bit tedious to interact with Pyrrho. And he's just become impossibly tedious now because he's nowhere even near a real subject. Ever. Okay, your argumentations are both informative and refreshing. Well, you're a lunatic if you see something refreshing in Pyrrho's drivel. You two are some of the few who haven't sold out. Well, that doesn't mean much. To all the sickening, hypey marketing techniques, blah, 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 blah. You guys are Mr. 1001 Nights, whatever this horse shit is. Who the fuck cares, whoever the fuck that is. Still making content like the early days, blah, 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 blah. Just dudes in a room talking to a camera. No. There's a person making arguments. And arguments are the basis of advancement. That's the only way you get from one place to another place is through those arguments. And you people don't take any of it seriously. You're all just fucking mushy brain shit. You don't know fucking shit about the goddamn subjects. I don't even know why you listen to videos. Because frankly, most of you are so uninformed. How the fuck could you even interpret? Because you don't know what a single word means, barely. Have so little context. So Jerry Hall, another just petty loser, he's been doing all this little nitpicky bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And none of it's gotten anywhere because, it's all nitpicky stuff. And I show eventually how, well, that sounded like an argument for about 10 minutes, but, here's where it falls apart. So don't do any of the hard work, just play the game. I don't know if Gary reads books. Well, it's the internet age, frankly. Okay, so you don't even have to read them anymore in most cases. And again, I mean, I've said this so many times, but what book are you going to read? Feynman? I mean, I've shown Feynman to be so flawed. The rest of the books all have agendas. Many Worlds. You think it's worth reading the Many Worlds book? I went through a couple of the Hawking's books, and you almost feel like blowing your brains out listening to this drivel. All right, it reminds me of Graham Greene. So another more blah blah references to the little silly whatever his favorite TV show. Dr. Fisher of Geneva are the bomb party. Whatever. So fucking relevant. All right, Dinah Cat Loves Me, just basically a racist lunatic, but whatever. First, I've heard about Holiday, so he couldn't care to be at all interested in the fundamental subject or to know what the fuck he's even hearing. So again, just another person so distant. What's the even point of you listening to the video? You can't possibly know any of the history or the context, so why don't you just go off and do something else? Shows how I keep up with drama. He left a very kind goodbye. So this is really funny. That this is what Pyrrho does to everything, right? So he thinks it was a kind goodbye. Where he said, thank you, Pyrrho, for being an asshole. I don't remember that in the video, frankly. We worried it was a suicide message, and it was. You didn't worry. That's the whole point. You didn't get worried until he was not around anymore. And I'm like, duh, you people didn't figure out he killed himself? Yeah, I said that the first day, I played his video and I said, boy, that's a goodbye message, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Ugh, shit. Anyway, he was more chill and zen like in 2009 and before. Isn't that like almost, it's so silly, you can't even put a label on how silly that is, because it's exactly the opposite. I'm so much more chill now than I was, 5, even, especially 10 years ago. I had a lot more energy to fight because I didn't think you were all stupid fucks. But I've sort of learned now that this task is so much harder than I thought it was. I thought smart people had integrity. And the truth is you don't have any at all. You're worse than poor people. Poor, ignorant people have some sense of, I can't cheat. I can't, They have some sort of balls. You people don't have any. As soon as the going gets tough, you pull out your little mud cannon and start firing. You don't care. Ugh, disgusting pieces of shit. Replying to comments and wearing funny hats with a more pleasant attitude. Amazing. But anyway, even when he argued against people, it's just... clueless is all you can say. Now, Steve Godfrey. Now, here's another, this would be a case for Pyrrho, in terms of it's another psychology for him to collect. You ought to collect this psychology of this lunatic. Just no perspective at all in terms of being honest about a single thing that ever happened. It's all exaggeration, hysterical exaggeration. I mean, his panties are so pink. But anyway, you're correct about his understanding of AN and ephilism. So Pyrrho made one little tiny statement about that subject. And clearly, the argument is that, Pyrrho thinks because ephilism says you shouldn't have children, and antinatalism says the same thing, you shouldn't create the problem, it means that you should kill everybody. When, of course, that's not the argument. It's about procreation. And when Pyrrho was challenged on the fact that you can control having children, it's a choice you make, your brain makes it, Pyrrho's response was to blame his penis and his sperm. They made the decision. He couldn't figure it out. You never heard of a condom. And that there was some mechanical way he could prevent women from getting pregnant. He couldn't understand any of that. He didn't even know it was going to happen anyway because it was the sperm's idea. All right. I mean, too stupid an answer. Okay. His thinking is superficial. Hey, the camera stopped working. Cool. Yeah, it's not a very good image. Hello? Come on. All right, that's a little better. I'm not going to redo this video. No fucking way. Yeah, it's a little bit, I should have rebooted. Anyway, okay. So just more of this horse shit. His thinking is superficial. This coming from a glib nihilist. Yeah, sure, it's superficial. It's superficial to point out that all of it has to be accounted for. You can't pretend like, you go to the store driving really fast and you run over 14 cats or something. You can't pretend you didn't do it to get to the store. You can't just say, look, I successfully got to the store and got some jujubes or something. You have to account for all of it, and you account for nothing. You think you're allowed to make as many victims as you make. So who cares? It's not, and then you have no, you talk about superficial, you have no worldview. You have no universe view. You have no understanding of the context of this parasitic infection on the planet Earth. What do you think it is? God's idea? What kind of silly, so we don't hear any of his philosophy. He just picks at other people's, but he doesn't put anything on the table for anyone else to pick at. So he's just some kind of little weasel who's telling everybody else they have a small dick when he's afraid to show his. Really lame. He talks in circles. Whatever. You can make that accusation to anybody on planet Earth, and it doesn't mean a damn thing, and there's no circle you'll ever show, and so it's just bullshit. More bullshit. Okay, and contradicts himself. Like, wow. Like, you could give us some evidence of these huge contradictions. I don't think so. There'll be word games like Pyrrho, where Pyrrho just put words in my mouth and said, because I said you failed by having your daughter kill herself, that somehow I mean it would have been a success if you only tortured her. So if you kept her in pain for another 40 years, that would be a great success. No, that wouldn't be success either, jackass. Oh, too stupid. Okay, I also can't help but wonder if his anxiety disorder is more self-diagnosed ruse than reality. So again, it's not my obligation to present my medical records and all this other kind of stuff. So this is where it just gets so obnoxiously personal. And you have really no decent human being says you have a right to question these things. You really just don't. It's just a harassment. I don't have an obligation to prove I've never been arrested for beating my girlfriend or doing some other kind of raping or something else. I don't have to prove I never did it. I don't have to prove your empty sleeve accusations. I mean, it's just so obnoxious. And so then I reply, I'll say something like, well, he does look like a pedophile, right? I mean, it's that easy. Oh, fuck. It's just so, it just demonstrates they don't have anything. They got nothing. That they have to be this desperate to just vaguely reference the crimes I've committed. I get the impression he uses it as a shield. So again, more horseshit. I don't use it. I regret ever mentioning it, of course. But where have I ever used it? I mean, it's just an amazingly silly statement. To what advantage is it to me to have an anxiety disorder? Are you insane? That's some advantage I'm gaining? Oh, amazing. To excuse his abusive temperament, etc. It's never been used as an excuse, never been even mentioned as anything having to do with anything in videos. Again, it's like somebody saying this about vertigo. Oh, you have vertigo. Oh, that's why you have a shitty attitude. No, that's not why I have a shitty attitude. All right. It's because I live on a planet with assholes like you that I have a shitty attitude. It's quite depressing. In his copyright case, so here he is, he keeps lying about this case over and over again. Just keeps lying, lie after lie after lie, because he doesn't understand any of this process, that this thing took 5 years. This was in court for 5 fucking years, asshole. I mean, you're just too fucking stupid. All right. In his copyright case, the court noted his claim of an anxiety disorder. So isn't this getting just way too personal? Was unsupported by evidence. Yes, and then I sent him the evidence. You don't understand how the process works? First you say something. Now most judges will just say, fine, I'll take your word for it. But he wanted to be a butthole about it. So I sent him the paperwork, retard. And then and it's all got all the, official blah, 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 blah. So what's your, this is just such, this is so, why is this comment on this video? Why is this your business? Why do I have to account for this stuff to you, you lying sack of dirty, smelly shit? Why does anyone, again, this is all these people have. This is all they can do. They can't make a fucking reasoned argument, and they can just play this gang warfare bullshit, and they'll sit there and pretend, well, I didn't say it, but I'm damn glad Steve did. My buddy. They support each other and support this kind of tactic. It's on you, Pyrrho. This crap is on your video. Okay. Gary responded by saying that that in a prior case, a New Jersey Superior Court judge told him, the evidence you have provided me is more than anyone has provided me before. Yeah, isn't that quite amazing? So this motherfucker brings up this subject, and the fact is that, yes, the judge was quite impressed by the evidence. So impressed that he actually said that. Thank you for providing way too much evidence. You can't see how what kind of scum you are trying to imply that it's an under-evidenced when a Superior Court judge, the evidence you have provided me is more than anyone has provided me before. It's overwhelming. Yes, you're right. Gary said he proved this by providing in the quotes, but he never followed through. What are you even talking about? You're nowhere even close to putting these sentences connected to the real court case, you fucking lunatic. Oh, God, you are so fucking stupid. All right, it's awful how he uses your daughter as ammo. Yeah, well, it's awful that Pyrrho okay, asked me to. I mean, he invited it. He said, I'm going to get personal with you. I'm going to I've been making them for years, accusations that you're anti-science and that you're this and you're that and you're that and you're that. And then he had to sit there and go to this one step even dumber. Okay, I've been interacting. He was at my goddamn house, for fuck's sake. I've been interacting for 15 fucking years, and then he decides to throw this pile of puke on the floor. And what am I supposed to say? But get out of my house, you fucking lunatic. Okay, that's a disturbing level of spite. It had nothing to do with spite. It had to do with Pyrrho asks for it. There's no other way to interact with this dog, than to merely do what he does. So he learns by example. Ugh. But anyway, what a pile of shit, this comment. I mean, it's just an absolute demonstration of what kind of stupid fuck thinks this is what you do in comment sections. You're just going to, this isn't an ad hominem attack. It's an overt slander. Okay. Bark Lord. I mean, just, couldn't be more lost in space. Okay, I always thought the flat earthers were just a group of creative mathematicians who wanted to see if they could model that view coherently. Yes, some of them were, but obviously not the ones that have popularized it. Okay, but then other people ran with it as if. Whatever. So again, the accusation is somehow, in some way, comparison. You have a valid comparison here. The evidence I've provided, for which I've gotten no rational response, for which I'm offering $2,000. You want to show me the flat earther offering $2,000 to be debunked? If all you people are so fucking smart, well, I'm challenging you. I'm paying you $2,000 to prove you're smarter than I am. And you don't want the money. No, it's too hard. Oh, why is it? It can't be too hard. I'm supposed to be so easy to debunk. No, it's not that simple, Buck Lord. Oh, but anyway, I'm pretty sure back in the 80s it was tongue-in-cheek. Oh, whatever. If in Mendham responds, he's going to poison the well. Fuck you. Build straw man. So what straw man have I built? In just merely pointing out that all of these arguments are just gross accusations with no evidence. You haven't demonstrated how my theory is anything like a flat earth theory. You haven't proven anything. You can't even prove your own science is right. Can you provide me one piece of evidence? Show me one YouTube video showing MV squared working. Show me. Show me you collecting what MV squared says is there. Show me the 8-pound ball knocking down twice as many pins. Show me the 5-pound wrecking ball wiping the building out. Show me. But you won't. A move goalpost. The goalposts haven't moved since I started this channel. So again, another grotesque lie. Okay, just nonsense. Manipulate context. In which way? I'm playing people's entire videos. How do you manipulate the context when you play the whole fucking video, you fucking liar? Amazing. I mean, just amazing. Rag after rag after rag, and not a goddamn piece of fact in any of this horse shit. Just a lie, another lie, and another lie, and another lie. Make claims of character assassination, yes, that are quite obvious. I mean, so fucking obvious. And quote mining against him. Yes, exactly what all the opposition videos are made out of. None of them are my 17-minute video that I'm pleading with you to debunk. Nobody's playing one of those 17-minute videos and showing how, well, that can't happen, or that's impossible, or that's got to be wrong. Nobody's even saying that's got to be wrong. They can't provide any counter-argument at all to any of it. Okay, a predictable, desperate, cornered animal. So again, just more absolute bullshit. I'm not the one cornered, in any way whatsoever. I'm just really disappointed that all you people have no balls, no integrity. You're all just putrid. You know, what's the worst kind of animal there is? Like one of them little long mices. You know, you're just a weasel, a vole. Okay, spewing endless self-defeating arguments. Yeah, none of them are self-defeating because you can't defeat any of them. You can't make a physics argument to save your little stupid life, and that's just the truth. You're ignorant, stupid little bastard, and here you are talking shit about your betters, and I am your better. I could have sworn you made a video years ago about being done with Inmendum. Yes, he has. He has, you know, lots of people have famously, you know, unrecommended me. So what? It doesn't mean anything. If Pyrrho's interested, he's interested. But obviously his interest is so superficial that it's useless. Yes, I did. And certain parts I did finish with. Yes, having any kind of useful conversation at all. You became so preposterously obtuse and useless to anybody who, you know, likes words and them logically being put together. Because you're not going to ever do that again, apparently. And moving on from previous attitudes has happened. However, I'm not going to actually promise never to say anything about him again. I retain all my current freedoms. La 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 la. However, I have realized more about what this is all meant to me and means now. Yeah, well, I certainly couldn't give a shit. You know, you've always been a pain in the ass, and now you're just a pain in the ass squared. Okay, great video, says the Wicker Man. Yeah, it was a shit video. I mean, nobody could call this a great video. Anybody with any kind of honest, you know, any kind of honest integrity. It was nothing. It wasn't even good drama. It was so lame and stupid. He wasted 3 minutes looking for a picture of a fucking alligator. You forgot to mention Entacantavad in that shit list. Where is he, by the way? Yeah, he's another one who had a kid. That's where he is, by the way. Okay, probably in his midlife crisis, saying, why the fuck did I do that? So Pyrrho says, I liked Anacondavat, another overt nihilist. But his ideas to me were more in the attitude category that I appreciated them. I mean, what does that even mean? So you know, it's just another. You know, I only interact to you know, gather you know, some sort of idea message or something. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, where is he? Well, I'm sure he's just so pleased that all you do is again try to collect people, you know, in your little wax museum. Anyway, you also forgot to mention Matt. Amazing. So Matt's an example of what, except that's just psychosis, right? I mean, he just can't deal with life, the reality, the facts. So he ran away to a little pink and yellow la la land, you know, where they can, you know, whatever they do, you know, those little, what do they call that thing when they go like fire thinging? You know, they pray to the moon or something. I mean, all kinds of wacky little silly shit. So yeah, his brain has been turned into absolute mush. He might be the most important of all the leading thinkers on YouTube. What a gigantic. You just say, who the fuck is this lunatic? I mean, it's just wooey baby religion. I can't deal with real religion because it has a mean God in it. So I'm just going to make up a mushy baby religion. You know, it doesn't have anything, you know, it doesn't have any real religion in it. It's just very religious, full of rituals and happy talk. Oh, you're so pathetic. Totally. He's actually why I started talking philosophy on YouTube, because yeah, it was called Red Rocket, and you know, I was thinking about dog penises all the time because I'm a dog ass licker, and you know, so that was really appealing to me. Red Rocket, Red Rocket. Anyway, I was going to talk politics. I was like, people are actually talking philosophy. Good old, yeah, Red Light Rocket. That was a great screen name. Anyway, and what was Matt? He was on the cusp of becoming a doctor or a scientist, and what did he decide to become? A little fabulist. All right, you can really care about someone but still disagree. I don't know about that. We won't be here forever. La 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 la. Gee, you figured that all out on your own? Can we just have a good time while we're here? Some more. This is what fucks the future. The future never gets fixed because all these little la-las are all sitting there saying, what's in it for me? I'm not happy enough. This isn't good. This isn't, this isn't cupcake enough for me. Reality isn't cupcake enough. What a disgusting pile of shit he has watching his videos. Ugh. So, yeah. Yuck. Yeah. So it's too bad To Be Serious didn't chime in again with her bullshit. Some more of her just overt lying. Okay, like she's some sort of credible judge of either human character or physics or biology or anything. Ugh. I don't know what it is. There's a word for the fake. These people are just such fake. This pretensive fakery. Like there's some authority and they don't know anything about the subject. So anyway, maybe I'll play one of Pyrrho's old videos just to point out how obnoxious they are and how vacant of anything called physics they are. All right. So, I'm done with this episode. Wait a minute, there should be a Stephen Bro comment. I guess he deleted it. It was so fucking stupid. Yeah, I guess he deleted it. It was just a big pile of his self-indulgent mush. It, again, didn't have any rational arguments. It was some story about how he froze his butt off somewhere. It was a little winky. In some castle or something. It was just bizarre. Yeah, it's gone. Well, too bad. I guess I should have saved that one. It really was so bad that even as a Stephen Bro comment, it was just so lame. There was just nothing in it but mush. All right. Stephen, what's his name now? Steady Ready? Whatever. Oh, God. It's just can't. I have to endeavor to persevere, but frankly, it's just not looking good for the human race. It's got no will, to live in reality, to be in some way real. Just live in the Borg. So anyway, it's enough of a video. Yeah, I'm done. Alright, so till the next time and such, this has been a DraftScience video presentation and such.